Hey everybody, Mike Chipperini here from Chipper's Island Adventures. And this morning I woke up to this fall's first frost. And you know what that means? Time to winterize the rig. So that's what we're doing today. So today I'm going to winterize my Entegra Odyssey 24B, and I have never done this before. So I've looked at the manual, I've watched a few YouTube videos, and I'm going to just go ahead and try to do the best I can here. But the first thing I have to do is I have to get to the water filter and remove it. So that's first, and that on the 24B is a bit of a pain in the tail. So let's get to it. On the 24B, which the Entegra Odyssey 24B is basically a Jayco, I believe it's a Greyhawk. And the water filter is in a very difficult position, and I really want to change it. And it's located, if you look down, underneath the wardrobe in that grill. So what I'm going to do is take that grill off and possibly remove a couple of drawers. As you can see, there's the water filter. Now, the first thing you want to do really is turn off your water pump. You don't need any. Once you take that water filter off, it's going to release the pressure on the water pump, which is going to activate the water pump, just like opening up a faucet. So you don't want to do that. There's also a valve on there to turn off and keep the water flow down. So we'll go ahead and remove the water filter, and I have a couple water filter removers. And also don't forget, you have to press a little button on there that releases the pressure on the water filter, so don't forget that as well. So I got the filter canister off, the filter housing, and here it is. And lo and behold, there is no red button on the top. And I'll tell you, I really do not like the setup on this. But you can see down inside, that's the water pump there. Then the filter housing itself. All the low point drains have to be drained. So I believe I have 3 of them. Here's another one. So the next thing you're going to want to do is drain your hot water tank. Remove the plug that holds your hot water tank water in. And I also lifted up the little pressure relief valve, and that'll allow air to go in while pushing out the water. So we're going to let that drain. Let that drain. That one drain is still dripping a little bit, but it should be fine. As you can see, that's still dripping. Then, while the hot water is draining, I'm going to go ahead and pull off the cover that allows me access to the hot water bypass. And I believe it is under the fridge. I'm going to check that out right now. So as you can see, here's the bypass. And basically, what you need to do is turn these so they're in line, because what they'll do is go, instead of going into the water tank, they'll come back down and go out. This blue one is your cold water. So the cold water goes into the tank and then the hot water comes out. Well, if you turn this and turn this, basically all that's going to happen is it's going to come down and loop under and go back out. And that is your hot water tank, or your hot water heater bypass. I'll do that in a minute once it's all drained down. So basically, I went down and I put those valves so they're straight up and down. So now my hot water is bypassed. Okay, so what I just did is I went ahead and blew out the lines. You do not have to do that. And for me, this is my first time, so it was a little bit more time consuming than I really wanted to. But I have bypassed and drained the hot water heater, or the water heater, as some call it. And I have drained all my tanks, and I have pulled off the canister, the housing for my water filter, and emptied that and replaced it. Now what I'm going to do is hook up my siphon hose that will siphon the antifreeze out of the bottles. But the first thing you have to do, according to the manual, is take this little filter, this steel mesh filter, and reverse it so the cone is pointed in. So what I did, I got a little table because my hose is a little short and I can't do everything with one hand, two hands. So I should be able to turn on my water pump, and you can see the antifreeze going down right now. It's priming it. And go ahead. I can see pink coming out that side, and I can see pink coming out that side. So we're pretty empty there. So I'm going to change water bottles. Pour what's a little bit in here. And then I'm going to go inside. So I've just turned on the water pump on the inside, and now I'm going to go ahead and run the fresh water, or the sink, on cold water. And you can see that is pink. I'll shut that down, go over to hot water, and as you can see, we have pink. Now I'm going to go into the bathroom and do the same thing. That's the hot water, and there's the cold water. Both pink. And now we'll do the shower. Cold water. Oh boy. You can see there's plenty of pink. And this is the hot water, and that's pink. And now you got to remember to do the toilet. And there's plenty of pink there. So the last thing you want to do, the absolute final thing, is go around and just drop some antifreeze down the drains. That way, and these probably go to the same drain, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because I feel better for it. You do the drains all around here. Pour some down, pour some into the shower, and then you know that you're good. And I'm just going to burn up the rest of this. Pour a little down the toilet. So, in a nutshell, these are the steps that you want to take winterizing your motorhome. And this is according to the Odyssey manual, which is not altogether accurate. First off, level the motorhome, and then drain all the water lines, the fresh water system. So just go around, open up your low point drains. Make sure your water heater is turned off, electric and propane, and then go ahead and remove the plug that allows you to drain your water heater. So one, you're going to level the motorhome and drain all the water systems. Now, make sure your water heater is turned off propane and electric, and then go ahead and remove the plug to drain the hot water system. Let all the water drain out of the rig. Once it's all done, go ahead and turn off all your low water points, or turn them back on, close them, so to speak. Remove your water filter. And that, in the manual, it says there's a red button on top. There isn't a red button. And that's supposed to relieve the pressure if you press it. Well, what I had to do was, first you turn the valves to make sure no water's going in or out of your water filter. And then you go ahead, I disconnected one side and it relieved the pressure. And then I could easily turn the housing and remove it. So that's the other thing you want to do. So once you put your housing back on, you open up your valves so the water goes through your water filter, and you go over and you close the valves on your water heater. You want to make sure you bypass that water heater. So right now all your fresh water system is drained. Everything's done. Now what you want to do is go to your wet bay, which on my rig is in the rear compartment on the driver's side, and set your settings to winterize, sanitize, or sanitize, winterize, whatever it may say. But you want that winterize set. Once you set that, connect your siphon hose. And then what I did is I got a table and I put the jug of antifreeze on the table. I put the siphon hose in. And then as soon as I hit water pump on my handheld shower on outside, the water started coming out, and within seconds it was flowing pink. I then went inside and turned on the water pump inside, and I was able to run the faucets, and I ran all the faucets on the sink, the bathroom, and the shower until they all ran pink. Then I went ahead and flushed the toilet till it ran pink. And one of the last items is to go around and pour antifreeze into all the drains so that the P-trap fills up with antifreeze. And that's really about it for winterizing your rig. And the other thing you want to do is go around and wipe up all the excess solution that may have splashed around, especially in the shower and the sinks. That way there you don't have any staining or potential staining. So then after that, all you got to do is disconnect your hose. Make sure you flip that little filter back around the cone. Make sure you flip that around, and that is according to the manual. And it does flow a lot better when you have the cone pointed inward. So don't forget to flip it back around so the cone is pointed outward. And after that, I went ahead and set my wet bay settings to normal and left it at that. So that's it. It's pretty simple. My rig took about 2 gallons of antifreeze. And the thing is, I blew mine out initially with air just to try it. And you know what? I'd rather just go ahead and drain the whole system and then go ahead and use the antifreeze. You don't need to blow out this system. It was just something I wanted to mess with, so I tried it. So that's about it. If you like this video, feel free to hit like and subscribe. I got to admit, this isn't one of my best ones. It's my first time doing this, and I bumbled around a little bit. Forgot a couple steps, went back and did those steps. And then that one water filter, me getting that out was a bear. And I want to add, I'm not putting in a water filter next year. I'm just going to put it in line with my hose, because that water filter is about 3 or 4 inches from the hose inlet. So that means that you're not getting any more benefit if you're using a filter on your hose and then using that filter. I don't think it's any more benefit for all the work you have to do to get that filter on.